Reading in the autumnal heart of Pennsylvania, unremarkable cousin of its namesake in Britain, where something remarkable happened this week that offers an insight into the malaise of American democracy.
Well, ain't no stopping us now. We're here to vote. We're here to vote.
A procession heading to one of the polling stations where early voting has already begun. Pastor Lamont Wells has come to bless a ballot box.
So we ask, oh God, that you allow this box to be used for your glory.
Summoning divine intervention to prevent election interference. They're worried about this week's ruling in favor of Republicans by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that postal ballots won't be counted unless they have a correct date on the outer envelope. A tiny detail perhaps, but most postal votes are cast by Democrats, and thousands of them could end up being disenfranchised in a very tight race. And the fact that you're having to bless the ballot box, you're going to have to fight for every vote in what is supposed to be the world's greatest democracy. What does that tell you about the state of this democracy?
Our democracy is on the rocks right now. It is really in deep water.
I mean, even the fact of January 6th last year, like I was sitting watching TV and just appalled by what I saw, and then the fallout behind it is indicative of the kind of world that we are growing into and living into, and I don't want to live in that world.
So what happens in the midterm elections here in states like Pennsylvania is really about the next presidential election in 2024, isn't it?
I think that democracy is on the ballot this year, and if certain people get in power this year, then the 2024 election will not be a fair election, and that many ballots won't be counted, and many people will be deprived of the right to vote.
Pennsylvania, gorgeous at this time of year, but that's not why we're here. This is the cradle of American democracy, the birthplace of the Constitution, and in every election, this state, split 50-50 between Democrats and Republicans, is absolutely crucial to both sides. But in this election, Pennsylvania has become a battleground for the very future of American democracy itself. The two stars in this election are the men running for the US Senate seat here. The winner could tip the balance of power in Washington. For the Democrats, John Fetterman, a former mayor and at 6'8", literally a giant of a man with an unorthodox dress code. He was ahead in the polls until a stroke impaired his performance in the only television debate in this race.
I might miss some words during this debate, mush two words together, but it knocked me down, but I'm going to keep coming back up.
It's a brand new season of Dr. Oz.
His Republican opponent is Dr. Oz, a celebrity heart surgeon turned TV talk show medic.
Television, we are testing urine.
A man devoted to saving lives, who's embraced the guns that can end them, but just for the purposes of this campaign.
So when people say I won't support guns, they're dead wrong. Boom!
We tried to have a word with him on the way to one of his rallies. Dr. Oz, quick question for British television. Dr. Oz. I know.
You guys were told 3 times already.
Around the back, the queue to see the doctor. Astonishingly, Republicans overwhelmingly agree with Democrats that American democracy is in peril, except they blame the radical left.
Go Oz, baby!
What's at stake in this election?
Everything.
Oh, everything's at stake. Our freedom, our safety, our economic substance.
Oh, say, can you see?
Inside the hall, the crowd is warmed up with a familiar ritual of God and nation. While they wait for the doctor, we take a stroll outside through one of those neighborhoods that could be anywhere in America, except the voters in this county may get to decide who controls the US Senate. In this house lives the odd man out, the only man on the street with a Fetterman sign, who also shuns the internet and a mobile phone, but takes his politics as seriously as his plants. Meet Vince Kessling, retired horticulturalist.
If the Republicans take the House and the Democrats keep the Senate, then nothing happens. Then nothing happens.
And if the Republicans take the House and the Senate?
We're in big trouble. It's over.
Back over the road, Dr. Oz administers his electoral medicine and skirts the defining issue of every Republican candidate. Do they agree with Donald Trump that the last election was stolen? He has kept his distance. but his voters haven't. So if he loses this election, Dr. Oz, will you accept the result?
Oh, absolutely. If he loses it legitimately, yes. Of course.
Did you accept the fact that Donald Trump lost the last election?
You know what I mean?
As the doctor races off to his next appointment, this one with Fox Television, his motorcade gets a police escort as if he's already won. And the once outrageous question hangs in the night. Can America ever again guarantee the essence of all democracies, a peaceful transition of power?